Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today we are taking a look at a combined machine. We've looked at a few of those and more than one have been made by Sharp. This one again takes one of Sharp's key machines and merges it with a popular gaming platform of the time, and it produces what I think is a pretty stunning affair as well. Let's take a look. So here we are. This is the Sharp X1 Twin. This one's in fairly good condition. It's got a few stickers that can be removed, and the power cable I will have to replace this at some point, but I have just kind of repaired it for now. It's looks like it's been chewed a little bit by some rodents, one would assume. Now I think it's a striking machine, and this is the last of the X1 range that Sharp released before they moved on to their 16-bit legendary X68000 range, and you can see the design scheme is coming in here. So you can, this is almost, if you imagine like this a bit thinner and on the other side it would look like that classic X68000, yeah, and the big power switch and the volume control, it looks a lot like one. Now yes, whilst this is a Sharp X1 computer and a NEC PC Engine in one, very much like the Mega PC or the Terra drive, whilst it's these two machines merged together, they're not merged in any kind of meaningful way. So, well, I guess on the Terra drive you could technically do development, but yeah, it's not, they're not merged in any meaningful way. As you can see, even down to the point where there's a PC Engine pad and still the original X1 joystick ports in there. So yeah, whilst they're there and it's in one nice combined unit, which is probably quite useful for not taking up too much space, it is it really is just two machines crammed into one box, but it looks nice. That's kind of the point. And they did get these two things merged into one. I mean, not terribly hard, obviously, because the PC Engine, when you see the Japanese models, they're very, very small, so they don't have to take up much room anyway, but still I think it's fantastic, and it's a wonderful device. Now this is not quite working. The PC Engine part seems to kind of work, although I've only got it in black and white at the moment, but I think that maybe the display I was using, we'll find out a bit later. But the Sharp part just kind of displays some weird symbols, which we'll show at some point, maybe even now if I remember, who knows. So we do have to take a look inside and work this one out. We won't be fixing it, I imagine, today. This is really just an introduction to this wonderful little beast. Yeah, so this was released in 1987, obviously by Sharp, and let's take a little look at it. We've looked at an X1 before, a Sharp X1. They're very nice little 8-bit machines. They have the kind of, one of the downsides of the original Sharp is the original X1s. It was quite hard to get a signal out of them. For instance, on my X1 Turbo that we've got, but you can just see over there. Look, you see the edge of it right there. It's handy. That wasn't even on purpose. Getting a picture of it is quite difficult, lots of conversion things. Now in this one, most of the video will just come out of these composite ports or this RGB port. So it is actually a lot easier to get a signal out of this than it is the other one. So that's kind of handy. On the back also, this one's got a little bit of a broken grabber on the printer serial port here. But it's still got the I/O slot, so you can still add in some X1 cards. And it's still got the TV control thing, so you can still do the kind of this TV splicing which the X1 had built into it. So it's still very much an X1 machine. It's just PC Engine inside it. Yeah, it's also it's quite simple all in all when you look at the actual sides and stuff. They're just vented. The front is, like I said, it's very X68000 looking, which is not a surprise. The X68000 came out in the same year, so that design was already going through the ringer. So the fact that this is similar isn't that surprising. But yeah, all these things. So we've got this X1 game button here, so what it will switch between showing the X1 and the game. Now, if you've got a cartridge in, that will play regardless of what this button is, which I found out because the sound was still playing when I was getting the weird symbols on. So that's kind of cool. So it does run at the same time, unlike say the Mega PC, we had to slide across to switch things on and stuff. Yeah, it's got the NMI and IPL reset things, which are standard on X1s. Yeah, the volume again. The sync mode changes how it syncs to the screen, so it can use the high resolution displays that the old X1s used to use. The same keyboard socket, the kind of the 3.5mm jack, and yeah, these lights are very reminiscent of the X68000 as well, which is kind of cool. It really does remind me of it, and I do love that because I do regret selling my X68000s. They were just too big though. So I think the first thing to do really is we'll take a quick look inside just to see if we see anything obvious, and I think we'll try and clean the case up as well. And this will probably be a bit of a series, I imagine. Hopefully we will get this working. So I would like to have this as my daily driver X1 because I think it will be a more convenient machine to have around than the other X1. But I do love that as well, so I will certainly be keeping it. Right, well, let's get this thing open. Well, there we are. Quite neatly, it kind of separates into two bits, so we should be able to take this bottom bit off as well to take an even closer look. But first of all, we'll take a look at the actual kind of, I guess, the X1 drive side of things. So we have, what do we have on this part? We got this here, which is the power board, and yeah, the drive base here with room for another drive and a power adapter. I wonder if the old X1 drives fit in there. I've got one down there. That might be worth a shot because it's just kind of sitting there. But yeah, I think we probably have to take off the other side as well. But it's yeah, it's interesting that it comes apart in those two sections like that. Right, well, let's get the other side off. No, but there has been some evolution in design, because on the old X1s you had to take apart the actual I/O slots to get any kind of meaningful access, but this did just come off without doing that. But that hasn't really helped us, so we do have to take it apart even more to get inside. So it does look like we have to do a full teardown on this thing, which is interesting. We've got to take the front off anyway, because we need to clean those stickers off properly, and we want to be doing a nice good clean on that. So yeah, okay, we might as well continue then. That's another interesting piece of evolution. The whole front case comes off without any wires being attached to it. It's all attached to the front bezel, which is definitely welcome, because that's a lot easier. So it's all here instead. Right, well, this is it then. This is the board. Right, so this is going to be the PC Engine side of things. You can see where the Hue card slot is. And this is a combined board because it's got the joystick ports and things. Also the joypad port for the PC Engine. So I see a Z80 in there as well. Alright, so I guess we need to remove the hard drive and stuff. But you know what? That's for another part, I think. We see inside, but now what we should do is we go and clean that front cover off, just to at least get this looking nice. Okay, well, we've got it mostly clean. It wasn't perfectly straight away. This still needs a little bit. Can't even get that in shot. This still needs a little bit of work. This sticker mostly came off, but it did leave behind some bits. And the little sticker up here, weirdly, was the hardest one. That one has still got tiny bits there. But that doesn't matter. This is going to be cleaned properly. Now it's off the machine. We can do that. But we got the most of it off. We have to be a bit careful with isopropyl because it is fairly indiscriminate in the cleaning that it does. And I don't want to obviously risk taking off some of this actual screen printing on the actual machine itself. So, but it's looking a lot nicer without those stickers now. As much as the original owner probably loved those stickers on there, I didn't. You know, personal preference and all. So I think it looks a lot nicer. And once it goes to be properly cleaned, that is to say, when I stick it in a sink and with some soapy water, then that will massively improve it. It's actually not too dusty inside and stuff, which is good. Now, when I was taking all this off, these screws were really hard to undo, which is a good sign. It suggests that nobody's actually been inside this before. And the fact that this power cable wasn't cut off, it does suggest it didn't go through a recycling place before it got onto BuyE. So yes, there's a good chance that nobody's tried to fix this, which is always handy because if somebody has tried to fix something and put it online, it generally means that they failed in some usually catastrophic way. So so I'm pretty hopeful we're going to get this working. Right, anyway, let's finish up. Right, well, it's not working perfectly. We didn't really do much today apart from clean it up and show it off. But we are gonna get this running, and we will. If anything interesting happens, then I'll do a video on it. Obviously, if it just suddenly starts working, then I'll do another go on it. But I won't bother saying anything because if it just starts working randomly, then yeah, I imagine it's not. Well, it's definitely not going to do that. I almost certainly remembered to show some video in here. Almost certainly. And so you'll see basically definitely parts of the machine are running. It's showing stuff on the screen. It's not altering all the times, which suggests that the visual stuff is the VDP is working, and the clocks must be working as well, and the CPU must be working to a degree. But by the same token, the NMI doesn't cause it to do anything, can reset. Whilst it resets, doesn't alter anything. So it does suggest that there is an issue in there. So I will obviously be checking caps and stuff because it's an old machine and it's very compact, so checking the caps is a good idea. And if not, it's probably looking at memory, which might be a little bit harder to fix. But anyway, we will we'll see how it goes. And at this point, I don't even know if the PC Engine part works because I literally have not recorded the bit where I'm going to be showing off the PC Engine in my proper setup here, which will display any kind of signal. So I guess we'll find that out you'll find that out in a minute, and I'll find out when I record that. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please hit like. If you really enjoyed the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. Oh, and the bell icon, which is somewhere here. If you hit that, then you'll be told when we have future videos. See you next time.
The present is horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. Back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great. Escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused.